Good evening, everyone. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. All right, what's up with all these people, or what seems like all these people, getting themselves into $500,000 worth of debt? I did a video Friday. I think it was Friday, yeah. And I'll link it at the end, but it was about a pastor with $65,000 of student loan debt who is in love with a woman who has $450,000 in student loan debt. Hers is for a dentist degree. The pastor's 65,000 was for the pastor's degree. Between them, they have over half a million, and she is still in school. So let's remember as we watch these videos, we are not here to judge how they got into debt or why they got into debt, but we are definitely here to learn from it. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. No line, no waiting. Let's go ahead and minimize this. And this is from Dave Ramsey. I'm in $500,000 worth of debt, and this ran actually about a day ago on his show. Here we go.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Helen is in Atlanta. Hi, Helen. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Hi, everyone else. I'm calling. I forgot your name. I'm sorry.
That's
okay.
all right.
Okay.
But I have a question that I'm sure y'all hear a lot. It's a student loan question. I know y'all are like, oh, I'm so sick of student loan.
Not me.
No, we're
Now, I don't listen to these videos in advance, but she sounds like an older woman. Please tell me she's not holding on to $500,000. Let's find out. I listen to this with you guys.
we know you're sick of them, so we're here to help you. What's up?
So I'm kind of like in a very deep hole. I'm at the point where I'm very hopeless at this point. I'm trying to figure out how can I handle my student loan debt, which is now at $311,000, which keeps growing as each day goes by.
Okay, so she has, okay, the title says I'm in 500,000. She has 311. When you get to 311, 500,000, tomato, it's all debt.
Interest rate on that student loan, which is $311,000, is some of them are 7%, some are 6.80, and some are 7.60.
Are they private?
All of them.
Are they private or public?
They are not private.
Okay, they're not private, so they're federal loans. They're public loans. I'm dying to know how old she is.
They're public. All of them with the Department of Education.
Okay.
What's your degree in?
I am. So I have 3 degrees. I have one in information technology, one in.
Okay, information technology. So she has 3 degrees. If you've been watching this channel, I have 2 master degrees. This could have been me just with my 110,000. I back that up just a second.
Of Education.
Okay.
What's your degree in?
I am. So I have 3 degrees. I have one in information technology, one in conflict management, which that was a waste of money. And I had a law degree.
I don't know what a degree in conflict management is, but I admire her for admitting it was a waste of money. I truly don't know. I've never even heard of a degree in conflict management. That almost sounds like something, I don't know, like I work for a school district, so it almost sounds like something maybe the school district might give me for a weekend course, conflict management, resolution. It certainly doesn't sound like something I'd be taking out a huge student loan for. But it sounds like it's a full-fledged degree. She said she has 3.
Okay. And so what do you make?
So
Everybody want to guess? How much do you think she makes? Take a guess. Take a guess. How much does she make? I'm going to say with those degrees, this is a pure guess, okay? Conflict management probably doesn't pay much. She does have law, so I'll put her above 50. I'm going to say the fact that she has $311,000 worth of student loan debt. She does have a law degree. If she's practicing law, okay. I know nothing about what lawyers make, but I'm going to be generous. I'm going to say 80,000. I could be wrong. Not all lawyers are rich, so everybody got their dibs on this. The fact that she hasn't been able to pay it off tells me she's not raking in a couple $100,000. So I'm gonna say she might be on the lower end of the law degree. Let's find out. On the high end, I'll put her at 125. On the low end, I'm gonna put her at 80.
So right now I'm only making $85K.
Once again, I am batting 1-0. I'm not cheering because she's in debt. Let's keep this very straight. I'm not cheering because she's in debt, but it gives me hope that perhaps I'm leading my audience in somewhere the right direction, that I really do know what I'm talking about. Okay, and Scout's Honor, I do not listen to this before. That would benefit me none to lie to my audience. So, and that I just don't have time to listen to it first and time to listen to it again. I ain't got that type of time, and I think it's better to listen to it for the first time with you guys. Okay. But you see how I got my rationing on low of 80, high 125. The fact that she hasn't been able to pay it off. And somebody who has a 200, let's say you're making $200,000, $300,000 as a lawyer, okay, chances are you would if you're spending your money correctly, you'd have the money to pay that off. So I'm proud of myself to give you some sort of idea as to where her income is. She makes respectively about $25,000 more than I do, respectively. Teachers' incomes aren't exactly private. If you want to know what a teacher makes, just find out how many years they've been teaching, where they're on the pay scale. There's really nothing private about teacher incomes. Anybody can find out. So that's not exactly something I'm trying to hide.
Doing what?
Right now I'm doing compliance.
Okay. Why?
If anybody knows what compliance is, would you please put it in the comments section? I don't even know what that is.
Because, well, I was a staff attorney, but I wasn't making a lot of money as a staff attorney because I worked for a nonprofit.
And she's not making a lot of money right now either.
I wanted to switch over to do more corporate type of legal work.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever watched those movies? I think, oh, geez. I can't remember who it is. Famous actor. I just can't think of him. But you ever seen movies with attorneys? And I think sometimes attorneys, lawyers, I think sometimes what happens is people get this starstruck idea based on Hollywood and stuff, and maybe, even some high-profile attorneys you hear about in famous cases. People get starstruck, I think, at times, that attorneys are wealthy, rich. As I've gotten older, I've come to realize that a lot of the jobs that we think are going to lead to wealth don't necessarily lead to wealth. Not after you take into account, the money borrowed to get into the profession, the years and years and years of struggle, to try to work your way up, maybe to go join a firm or something. But I wonder, at times, how many people enter a profession, I don't care if it's medical, whatever, thinking based on what we hear in the media about, well, this field should pay a lot of money. And then people get into it and realize it's not the money that you think.
And that's when I switched over last year to this to try something else.
Okay, and if you have a student loan debt of 311, again, the title says I'm in 500,000, so maybe we'll find out something down the road. Who knows? I hope not, because 311 is quite breathtaking on its own. But if you really think about it, $311,000 into work nonprofit, you can't do that, folks. If you're going to carry that type of debt. I couldn't pay it off with, student loan, which is public service. These six-figure debts, and it doesn't seem to matter if it's like if it's six figures in, what is it? Where's my thought going? It doesn't seem to matter if it's six figures being 100,000, 200,000, 3, 4, 500,000. It doesn't seem to matter where along that six-figure line it goes. It seems as though once you hit six figures, close to six figures, where the interest can add up to six figures, okay? I started with 85. It ended at 110,000 before I had it forgiven in 2022. Once it starts hitting that six-figure embracing point, it seems like it's almost impossible for most people, it seems, to clear their student loan debt, especially if you're going to go nonprofit, public service, those type of fields. It seems nearly impossible. And this is something I want young people to know about before they start racking up six figures. They graduate from college with a mini mortgage, if not a full-blown mortgage.
And which I did get a pay bump in making this transfer. I am married. I have a child.
What does your
my
husband make?
doesn't make. He only makes 50.
Okay.
Okay, so her husband makes 50, she makes 80, 90, 110, 20, 30. That's $130,000 respectively. When I was married, we easily made that. It's not a lot of money when you're carrying a whole lot of debt and or mismanaging the funds. It's not what people think it is. I know a lot of people think, man, this household makes six figures. Well, it depends upon where along the six-figure track they are, how much debt to income ratio they have. That's really what it depends on. I make nowhere near six figures, okay, but I do manage my funds now much better than they used to be managed. It makes a difference. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
How old is your information technology degree?
Oh, it's years old.
So that makes it, is it antiquated to today? In other words, it's worthless. Think about how fast technology changes. You go buy a computer at Best Buy 1 year, and a year and a half later, don't even make that model anymore. So at this point, she's paying for degrees that, with the exception of maybe the law degree, okay, which she isn't making much money off of. Let's say she pays, I hate to say this, $100,000 for each degree. Oh, that just seems breathtaking. Okay, she pays $100,000 for each degree. One of them, if anybody knows seriously, what is it? Conflict management, a full blown degree in conflict management. Please tell us. Inquiring minds would like to know. Her technology degree, that's as good as gone. If she hasn't kept up on it, she hasn't kept up on the licenses. Okay, if you're going to go into technology and stuff like that, you are always going to be going to school.
Okay. So you're not up to snuff on what's going on right now, then?
Not at all.
Exactly. So that degree is little. I mean, that's just taking money and flushing it down the toilet. It's no good. She might be one of those people who just likes going to school. There are people that just love going to school. Here's what I suggest, folks. For those of us, including myself, I don't like going to school. I mean, yeah, I like learning and stuff, but I want to be the teacher more than I want to be the student. And if I am the student, I don't want to be one having to go for the the grade. Did you ever sit in one of those college classes? For those of you that went to college, and all of you, there might be one or two students. They're just in there for the enjoyment of it. They're not actually in there to try to get the degree. They just paid the school money because they wanted to get the enrichment learning, okay, from the class. That's where I want to be now. I just want the enrichment learning. I don't want to sit there and be going, okay, I have to get an A or B in this class. Okay, don't want to have to do that.
Okay.
Not at all.
So your best path to an income is through your law degree.
Exactly.
Okay.
Can I ask about your spouse? He makes $50K. You're not combining your income?
No, we are not, because
why not?
We're not really combining.
Oh, please don't tell me he has $200,000 in student loans. Please don't tell me that's where we got the title, I'm in $500,000 of debt.
Adding our income, because he says my student loan is my student loan. So he's not contributing to that.
Does he?
I've discussed this before in almost every video that brings up, your debt versus my debt. There is no such thing as your debt versus my debt when you are a couple. It does not exist. Okay? We live under the same roof. All right? And when we turn on the lights, is that your half of the room that's lit because you're on top of your debt, and my half of the room is going to be a little darker because I'm not quite on top of the debt? Do we divide, do we divide electricity like that? When we open up the refrigerator, if you're on top of your debt more than I am, do you get a little bit more refrigerator space? Maybe they include the butter dish. You get that part too, whereas I'm relegated to the bottom shelf and one vegetable bin. When we sleep in the same bed, do you get a little bit more side of the bed because you're a little bit out of debt? Or even let's reverse it. Let's say I'm the one that's out of debt and you have more debt. So I get my choice of the bedside, and I get the extra fluffy pillow, and I don't have to sleep on the lump in the middle, but you get the edge of the bed. Do we live our life like that? Nah. I don't want a relationship like that. When you combine, you are one. That's you're one. Now, it doesn't mean that you got your little extra spending money and I get my little spending money. And my parents were like that, and I was like, well, cool. All their bills were paid as one. But my stepdad liked his. My late stepdad liked his football, so he spent some money on games and football. And my mother liked her stuff. So that was cool. But there was no such attitude as, I'm married to you and I'm not going to pay any of your debt because it's yours. Then why get married? Why get married? Okay? Love the person, love the totality of that person. Now, does that mean I'm going to be married? If I'm a pastor, like with the video I did on Friday, and I have $65,000 worth of debt, am I going to marry you with $500,000 and you haven't even graduated from school yet? No, I won't. But if I marry, I'm certainly not going to dim your half of the room with a little less electricity because you owe more debt than I do. That's stupid.
Do you have debt?
He owes about, he has there was a garnishment or whatever. It's not garnishing, but he has a debt about more than that. He has a $30,000 debt, plus he has a car loan. I do not have a car loan. The only debt I have is the house.
The only debt I have is the house and my $311,000 student loan. Have you ever heard people talk like that sometimes? They'll rattle off one big student loan. I have $175,000 in student loans. I make $40,000 a year, but that's all the debt I have. Otherwise, I'm all good. I'd rather hear I have $175,000 in credit card debt, no student loan. Why? Because you go bankrupt on credit card debt. You can't go bankrupt on student loans. It's almost like some people with really high bills have gotten to the point where they minimize that bill to say, but I'm all good in every other place. Yeah, I'm going broke on the student loans and we're at $300,000 or $200,000, whatever we're at, and I don't have the money to pay that off. Okay, I don't have a gazelle, much less have the gazelle intensity to pay it off, because Ramsey's always saying, pay it off with gazelle intensity. Okay, I don't have the gazelle or the intensity because I'm lacking the gazelle, but everything else is great. But you're stopping, you're going, but wait a minute. You have this huge bill that you can't pay and you can't get rid of it.
So the house is in your name.
Mm-hmm.
Why did these people get married? Why did these people get married? No disrespect to the couple. But really, if you're, when I remarry, if my spouse has debt and I've married you, then I'm in it with you. Okay? I'm not going to marry you. No, now that probably, maybe part of it is that this debt occurred after they got married. But if his attitude is, you know what, you're paying your own debt, your own this, your own that, then what's the point of being married? I guess that's kind of my thought. There's such a thing as too much division. Again, do they divide the garage? Do they divide the toilet paper? It's a Charmin pack of 12, but you're more in debt, so you have to use fewer squares than I get, or I have to use fewer squares. True story, without getting totally off on topic here, but bear with me for a second, because I do think it's relevant. In one of my very early relationships, when I was just graduated from college, and I was living with someone who shall remain nameless. One of my early relationships, I did not make as much. Okay, I was working at a radio station. I won't say where. I was working at a radio station, and I wasn't making very much money. The person I was living with, my significant at the time, was making more money, and only one car could park under the hooded driveway. Okay, so it's a driveway kind of like you drive. It wasn't like a closed driveway, where you have a garage door. It was just like an open hood driveway. It was just a cover in the driveway. And only one person could park under that cover. The other one had to park out in the open, just further back on the driveway. And I was told point blank, you, is what he said to me. He said, Carrie, you have to park in the open spot. Okay, I get the covered spot because I make more than you. I accepted that. I made less, so I get less. I do not agree with that. And today I would end a relationship on that. There's too much division here. Too much of the husband saying, well, this is your loan, this is yours, this is yours, this is yours. I hope how do they split the water bill? I mean, she might have more laundry to do. Oftentimes women have more laundry than men do. I think probably on a per load count, to be totally honest. Okay, do they split that too? Do they split the laundry detergent? Dish soap. We can get really stupid with this.
We got troubles, girlfriend.
Thank you. Yes, we have some serious trouble. And this is sometimes, I'm going to scratch my head like she's doing because I'm kind of confused too. Sometimes the trouble that we have, we come to realize isn't even about the money. Some calls are truly about the money. Yep, we got a money problem. We have a money issue. Some calls, the money is just a reflection. I think money is always a reflection of something else, oftentimes. But sometimes more so than others. There are people who call in and everything's fine. It's just, what are we doing with our money? Now, this is one of those calls. This is a relationship issue. This is a him against her, who's in power, who's in control. And from what I can tell about the husband, I won't say he's narcissistic, I don't know him, but he sure as heck would be the one telling me to park, myself in the driveway because I make less, and he park under the hooded garage. And it wasn't until a friend told me years later, by the way, said, that's not normal. And I was like, oh, well, I thought it was. Guess that's what low self-esteem at the time does to you, right?
We have a lot of troubles. And
yeah.
Basically, if you add the house and you add...
The trouble ain't got a damn thing to do with the house. It has nothing to do with the car. It has nothing to do with her student loan debt. It has to do with between them and what each is willing to do for the other. And without, again, I'm going to play fair. I'm going to play fair. Okay? Because he's not here to defend himself. All right? Maybe she ran up... If they've been married long enough, maybe she ran up all these bills, and each time he said, I don't think we should do this. And she says, oh, yes, I'm going to do it. Okay? So these are bills that could have occurred after they got married, and it was kind of a, argument as to, this is your third degree. Okay? So I'm not going to criticize her husband, but at the same time, I'm not going to defend him. But at the same time, we have to play fair and do the same thing with her. But this is a much deeper issue.
The student loan debt, I'm at $500,000 in debt at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, there's where we get the $500,000. Yep, another $500,000. Hold on. Got to drink out of my Barbie Dragonware. $500,000. And that may be the least of the problems. The husband may be the bigger issue. Again, I don't know who's right or wrong, but trying to get out of debt like this in a relationship that's not good, I don't see good things happening.
That's
all right. So number one chance, the only chance you've got to cleaning up his mess and cleaning up your mess is for you guys to join forces.
And they're not going to join forces. I love Dave Ramsey. I really do enjoy his show, and I love his co-hosts. When people get to this point where one person's calling in on a radio show, I believe the ship has already sailed by the time it gets to this point. I really do, because if you just think about the logic of it, for the most part, okay, if the ship were strong and it was bouncing in the water like it's supposed to, there'd be no need to call into a radio show. Sometimes I think that some of these people who call in, literally, it is their last leg before the relationship ends or they file bankrupt or whatever.
And quit acting like your roommates fighting over whose mayonnaise it is in the dadgum refrigerator.
Thank you. See, I feel like I'm on top of it. My points are being recognized and made.
Besides that, boy child is no money genius. We've proven that already.
Thank you. Yes.
So it's
I
not
agree.
like he's sitting over here on some high horse.
I absolutely agree. He's got his own debt.
He's already behind. He's further in debt ratio to his income than you are, and his income potential. So anyway, number one, we need an attitude adjustment in our marriage and learn to get on the same page and work towards
And yes, learn to get on the same page, work towards the same thing, and that's not going to happen if one person doesn't want it to.
things together. And then number two, we're going to have to do something with your law degree that makes you as much money as possible.
I hope I didn't miss it. I don't know how old she is. She sounds older. She's had time to rack up $311,000 worth of loan debt. I'm going to put her easily in her 50s. Easy, without even trying.
And it's not what you're doing now.
And if she's in her 50s, I didn't hear where she said how old she was. I'm just kind of judging by her voice. Okay, it doesn't always work to do that. But if she's in her 50s, she's had time to rack up $311,000 worth of student loan debt. She probably didn't do that in her 20s and 30s, not always. But let's just play devil's advocate and say she's in her 50s. And where's she going to have time to fix all this?
I mean, a law degree, you ought to be north of six figures.
Don't you love the way Ramsey, God bless him, always tells people they should be way up here in their income? Okay? I mean, you've been teaching for 18 years, Miss Horn. Why aren't you making $70,000? You should be way up here.
What was
Coming out of the gate.
What was the intent when you got that degree? What was the intent?
Just collecting degrees like a thermometer.
My intent was I always wanted to be an attorney. But
I always wanted to be an attorney. I had seen movies on wanting to be an attorney. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it in Gone with the Wind or whatever. I don't know. I've never seen it. Well, I saw Gone with the Wind ages ago. Is there an attorney even in Gone with the Wind? Bottom line is, this was a dream. This was a degree built on a dream, perhaps more than a degree built on reality, a strong foundation of truth. Instead, when people go, but it was a dream of mine.
but end up
Except for the
working
part
as
when you
one
did
and realized
conflict
that I didn't
management and
like
the part
it.
when you did
Yeah.
information systems. Yeah,
I mean, what's the next step? Taking the bar?
you got the bar. She's
Oh, I've
already
already, I've already taken the bar.
yeah.
So-
She's staff attorney,
So then what? I need to understand what's stopping you from.
making double what you're
Yeah.
making.
Maybe it's because her husband's driving 75% of the car and left her 25%. Who knows?
Because
Is it-
the industry is not paying. Well, I don't want to litigate. That's one thing.
She may have to litigate. Okay, I did a video about a week ago. You know, all these videos after a while, folks, just kind of, bleed together here, okay? I will try to remember, link it then. Where is my doggone notepad? I'm supposed to have a notepad with me. Okay, I did a video the other day, 30-year-old man, okay? Quote, it was a bloodbath, those are his words, to get through his $200,000 student loan debt. He's a lawyer, okay? He did everything he had to do. I mean, everything he had to do. You really should watch that video. Very powerful, okay? I'm narrating it, so by all means, feel free to watch it. I'll link it at the end, okay? She says, I don't want to litigate. You know, when you're in that much debt, what you don't want to do may not be an option. Okay? And that's something you realize. Young people, you want to give up your Saturday nights to go work at Starbucks? You feel like doing that? Young people? Do you want to give up all your weekends and holidays? Do you want to work the day after Thanksgiving? Or better yet, do you want to work on Thanksgiving Day, putting boxes on shelves? No disrespect to people who do this for a living. But we're talking young people who are willing to go to college and they have no assistance from parents and they're willing to go, do whatever it takes. Okay? She goes, I don't want to litigate. Well, bully for you, as my late grandmother would say. You be litigating if that's what it takes for you to get out of debt. And if she's in her 50s, and I swear she is, she may even be older, okay? All right? All the money she makes is going to go towards this debt. So what's going towards retirement?
do not want to litigate.
Why?
So I have to, because I've done it for 3 years and I hated it.
Holy cow, she's done it for 30 years? 30 years and she's in $311,000 worth of debt? 30? So if she got, let's say she got 25, 35, 40, 55. She's got to be about my age. She's 56. She does not have a choice. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Okay? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And when you sit there and you start going, I won't do it. I did it for 30 years. Well, apparently you did it wrong. You did it wrong. And that's a hard thing for us to really face. We can look at it and we have to learn to admit we did it wrong. I went to school wrong. I went to graduate school wrong. Should have just had the school district pay for my needed education. Could have taken classes gratis of the district. Okay? We have a very generous school district. Okay? I didn't have to go to graduate school because I wanted to prove myself. I feel so stupid about that. The reasons I wanted to go weren't stupid. I wanted to be really, really good. I wanted to be above average teacher, yada, yada. But I did not look at the realities of the debt to income ratio. I didn't look at that. The fact that she has litigated, which I assume pays more, for 30 years, and she is she is north of 300 in debt. That tells you that somewhere or another, that money that she earned during her career was hugely misspent. It's just my thought. I'm blown away. 30 years.
I'm sorry, you
I was
did
in
it for
depression.
30 years.
I did it for 3 years.
Oh, 3
3
years.
years.
I told you I don't listen to these advance. Okay, 3 years. All right. Well, just reverse that whole chant I just did. You gotta love this. 3 years. Okay. See, even Ramsey and crew got it. Jada, I think that's the gal he co-hosts with. Okay, she's great. I thought she said 30 years also. I'm like, what the heck went wrong?
The
3
staff
years.
attorney. Okay.
And I hated it. And I was
Guess what? All right. All of you that are in your early 20s, all of you that are getting ready to graduate from high school maybe in the next year, and you just swear you're going to take all the federal loans that you need, you're going to ask your parents to go broke, okay? Let me ask you, how much do you think you're going to love working a job and a half for maybe upwards of 10 years? How much do you think you're going to love having to have shorter sleep hours, kiss goodbye your free time with your friends so you can go pay off that student loan? Think you're going to like that? And it's not the same. And I did a thing on it just, I think earlier today, inspired from the video I did on Friday, okay? Working hard to pay off your student loan is different than working hard to get your degree. Working hard to get your degree has kind of a fun motivational challenge to it. Okay, I graduate in, on such and such day. I got to work really, really hard till then. Working hard to pay off your student loan, that's a total different ball game. That's 10 years of, slogging meat at the deli counter on top of your full-time job. I mean, okay, here she is, $300,000 in student loan debt. She tried litigation for 3 years. 1, 2, 3. She hates it so much. She basically, I take it, quit it, and became a regular staff attorney. She hasn't earned the right, so to speak, to quit it yet. She's still in student loan debt. I mean, that's kind of, okay, some people would say, wow, that's awfully entitled of her. Yeah, it is. I did it for 3 years. So you young people out there that don't think you want to go slogging boxes after a hard day of your regular job, because now you got your night job and your weekend job, you're going to stop like she did after 3 years and just watch your student loan compounded interest on the interest and adding interest to interest? You're just going to watch it do that. See, this is why I feel it is my social duty, through my mistakes, to really put a picture out there that people see, that people get tired. She's probably carried this debt for decades, and she's definitely in my. I'm sure she's in my age bracket. Okay, 56, right around there. I mean, I'm guessing. All right. She's like, I don't want to do this. Well, her other option is to watch that debt keep on going higher. When we make certain decisions in our life, we don't always have the choice as to whether or not we're going to do it. Sometimes we just have to.
Was like in depression. The only option that I saw out of this situation is to work for a nonprofit, which that's not going to make that much money at all.
Doesn't work. You need to make some money.
All right. Now, this is where I, do take a little a disagreement, to a lot of a disagreement with Mr. Ramsey. PSLF, Public Service Loan Forgiveness, does work. But the thing is, you as the borrower, you really have to stay on top of it. You have to be on top of it. And I will tell you, it is better now than it's ever been, okay? When I got my loan forgiven in 2022, all right, that was through the waiver because there were so many mistakes. I won't even get into them. It's not relevant. But what is relevant is PSLF really does work. The problem is it does require a decade, and if you really don't like what you're doing, you're going to hate every minute of it. However, just like I said before, sometimes we don't have a choice. We made decisions that are forcing us to make other decisions. I disagree with Dave the way he always jumps on. PSLF doesn't work. Well, talk to me. It worked for me. Yeah, it took me, 16 years to get it cleared. Now, not all of that 16 years was teaching, okay? I mean, two of those years is because PSLF didn't even exist, okay? The program didn't exist. Then it was on forbearance for like 2 years. So figure it took me, take that off, it took me 12 to 13 years respectively, okay, out of a so-called 10-year goal to get it dismissed. But we need to be careful when Dave just simply says, no, PSLF doesn't work. It does. Okay, I wish he'd be a little more choice with his words on that. PSLF does work, but it's got a lot of loopholes. You need to be really, really on the Johnny on the spot with staying up on your account, what's needed, staying up on channels like this, things like that. But it does exist.
In 10 years.
Yeah, you guys both need to make as much money as you can possibly make because you have a deep, deep hole.
That sentence does not work here. She was making more money. She was a litigation attorney. She didn't like it. That's where her income's going to be if she's going to crawl herself out of this. And that's before she even saves for retirement. So if she quit her litigation attorney because she said it makes her depressed, she didn't like it, well, with her education and stuff, we know 2 degrees, we can chuck those out the window. Kind of like I can chuck my University of Phoenix degree out the window. All right. I mean, hey, I'm in it too. I admit it. I got my degree to chuck out the window too. My organizational management degree. Okay. It can go. It can go. So I'm in line there too. I'll admit it on my end also. All right. Sometimes we get degrees, we can just chuck them out the window. But if she's not willing, if she was willing to quit a litigation job after 3 years, then him telling her, well, you need to make all the money you can. She was making all the money she could. She didn't like it.
And a medium-sized to small shovel. And we need to get the size of your shovel up, your income up.
And
she did have it. She didn't like it. So what she tells me is this is someone who will quit when they don't like it. Think about this before you get yourself into serious debt.
some of the jobs that you do, hear me
if you
out.
could make $100,000 more a year, you could be out of this debt in 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, God, don't even start me on that again. If you watched Friday's video, yes. How is it that every student loan, it seems, again, I like Dave Ramsey, I really do. I'd be happy to, it would be an honor to meet him in person someday. But how is it every student loan debt can be paid off in 3, 4, or 5 years under his math? I mean, really. Every student loan debt can be paid off in 3, 4, or 5 years. If it could, people would. But what happens? Life happens. And then, of course, deductions happen. And that, has to be taken into account. She's not taking home $80,000. She might be taking home, I don't know, 60, maybe even a little less. I don't know. Okay? But every student loan debt, if you if you listen to Ramsey, it's like, it doesn't matter if they're calling it with 50,000 or $1 million. Well, we can pay it off in 3, 4, 5 years.
Even if you didn't like what you were doing, like litigation for 3 whole years, if you made 185, we'll go do it for 3 years.
She already did it. She showed that she'll quit. That's what she showed. She quit. She said it made her depressed. That probably didn't make her depressed. It was why she was working for it. You see, would it be different if she didn't carry that type of debt and she was working for it and keeping what she was earning? It's amazing how when you become debt free, you actually almost don't mind working even harder because now you're keeping it. But what she showed, in this call is she quits. Maybe this is part of the problem between her and her husband. They both want to quit. Okay?
Years and shut up.
Exactly.
Because it's less depressing dealing with litigation than it is dealing with $311,000 in student loan debt.
And that's the mic drop.
I was just going to say, I heard nothing. As one of my girlfriends would say, I hear crickets. I was like, as we were all holding our breath, it's like, say something. I heard nothing.
That's
Hello?
all. Yeah.
Is this on?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
I'm not sure it's litigation. I don't
going
care.
back to-
But you're hiding in these stupid but half-paying corporate jobs while you need to go at the tip of the spear and go make some dadgum money for the good of your life. Because you're looking at a mountain, don't know how I'm going to climb it, and you're standing there with a law degree in your hand. So it's an income issue. Mm-hmm. You can make it out at 85, but it's going to take you 3 or 4 times longer.
This is going to be the couple that retires broke. This is going to be the couple that retires broke and in student loan debt. I can see it.
You can make it out without your husband's participation, but it's going to take you 3 or 4 times longer.
That's right.
And by the way, when you do finally get out, dumb butt's going to still be in debt over there.
I don't know why he's calling the husband dumb butt. She quit after 3 years and decided she didn't like litigation, yet she's holding on to $300,000 worth of debt. I think we got 2 dumb butts.
Yeah. What we're telling you, the you part of it is just such a small part of this equation, because if you're getting up your income, think about this. If you double your income, he doubles his income, you guys attack this thing together, you're moving quickly, and
They're not talking about anything she doesn't already know. She's an attorney. They're not talking about anything she doesn't know. The problem isn't that she doesn't know it. The problem is that she won't do it. She won't do it. She's shown that. And that's why she and her husband are in the pickle they're in. I don't think they like each other much because they're not willing to do much for each other. And she has definitely shown she won't do it.
you're on the same page and you
And
have
you're
the
gonna be
same
wealthy.
goals.
No, she not. She ain't gonna be. Nah, she ain't gonna be wealthy. No. $311,000 worth of student loans. By the time she gets that sucker paid off, if she even does, then when is she gonna save for retirement?
You'd be wealthy. You'll end up wealthy at the end of the story.
He can't double his income because he doesn't have any of the education behind him.
Can't. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. He just doesn't want to do it. Are you seeing a common theme here in this relationship? Everyone seems to have an excuse for everyone else. She's enabling him. Well, he can't double his income. You know, what was it? Ramsey had a thing out. Some dude makes $100,000. Pooper scooper. It was on one of his. I did not watch it, okay? But somebody, I guess, makes $100,000 pooper scooping. Okay, now I want you to take that pooper scooper, okay? The Dave Ramsey show ran about 2 weeks ago, okay? Now, this lady, what is it? Not Jada, not the host, or Jade, the host, but the caller. So the caller says, my husband can't double his money because he doesn't have a college degree. Talk to the guy who pooper scoops at $100,000. He's picking up twice the amount of pooping that he could pick, right? He could poop just a quarter of that, drop his income by 75%, but said he goes, no, I'm going to poop. I'm going to be the best pooper pooper scooper in town, and I'm going to pick up more SHI you know what than anybody else. Okay, and he don't need no college degree to do that with. So he pooper scooped his way up to 4 times the amount of crap, literally, okay, that these dogs leave, all right, to get himself up to 100 grand. Now imagine if he only picked up half the crap. He'd cut his income in half. But he knows he can pick up twice, and he can scoop his way up to 100 grand. Apparently he has, right? At least that's what the teaser on the YouTube thumbnail said. So if a dude can scoop 100 grand worth of crap, then surely her husband can pick up a shovel and start scooping himself. Remember, every 100 grand starts with $1. All right? So there you go. But think about that. 100 grand a year pooper scooper? That's a lot of poo. All right?
As well as he's not motivated.
There we go. All right? Now, I've learned to clap softer because I heard myself clapping on a mic. On the Friday's video, I think it was like, oh my Lord, does my clapping sound that loud? So we do snaps like we do in school, right? Snaps. Yeah, now we see the problem. Neither one's motivated. Sometimes we can see the problems in other people, but we don't see that same problem in ourselves. Okay? We can see the problems. Oh, my back itches. Okay. So anyways, sometimes we can see the problem in other people, but we can't see it in ourselves. So you notice how quickly she would say, oh, yeah, well, he could bring it up, but he can't because he doesn't have a degree and he's not motivated. That's the real reason. That's the real reason he's not motivated. Okay? That's the real reason, he's broke. He's not motivated. Not motivated. There it is. But guess what? Neither is she.
The second part, not the first part.
The problem is he's not motivated because I don't care if he doubles his income in his field. I just want him to go out working and bringing in more income. I don't care if he's delivering pizzas. I want him to get after this because you guys together decide that this is what you need to do.
It's
the only thing that I notice about this is they're really railing the husband, but I'm sorry, she's at fault too. This is a joint fault thing. She ain't no innocent party in this. She's no innocent party. They're just probably being nice to her because she's the caller. But really, if I'm looking at this from an objective point, neither one is motivated. Okay, she's like, I got my 3 years of litigation and I don't like it, so she quits that. And he don't want to be a pooper scooper or whatever. Okay, whatever. I think it was a car and some other stuff. Okay, neither one wants to be motivated, and I can pretty much assure you that most of their arguments are probably about blaming the other person. Why aren't you doing your part? When in reality, neither one wants to do their part. This is one of those situations. Geez, I hate to say it. They need to go their own separate ways. Collect your bills, lick your wounds, go your own separate ways. I don't see this being fixed. I'm just being honest. Don't see it being fixed.
Emotionally debilitating to be doing it by yourself when you're married.
She's not doing anything. See, they're making it sound like she's just this real hard working lady. She doesn't like litigation, but by God, she's gonna, go at it with a vengeance, and she's just working so hard. Nah, she ain't doing nothing. This lady is not a hard worker. Let me just say that. She is not a hard worker. She's trying to get out of it as much as her husband is. She was probably calling the Ramsey show to, help find her way out. No, she's not a hard worker. No. I've seen people who work hard. I've seen people who will climb mountains, lay down their life practically. I've seen people who worked hard. She's not a hard worker. No. Sorry, can't say that, and I'll be the first. I will admit when I think somebody's working hard. Okay, I'll admit when I think I'm working hard, and I'll admit when I think I've screwed up. And trust me, if you watch some of my past videos, I've screwed up. But no, she is not a hard worker, and she will quit when she decides, I don't want to do it anymore. Nothing to admire, at least from my POV point of view.
So it's very hard. But you guys, it is an income to debt ratio problem mathematically. Get your income up so that you can attack this faster.
She had it up. She didn't like it, so she quit. And she became a staff attorney instead of a litigation attorney. And you know darn well, when she was a litigation attorney, she knew she was quitting what was a higher paying job. She knew that. Don't tell me, you're a litigation attorney. I don't know what they make, and but don't tell me though you're a litigation attorney, which I'm sure, obviously, just from watching this, pays more. You quit that job and you go, oh gee, I didn't know I was gonna. Well, I believe Dorothy, I did not know I was going to be making less money. She knew she was making less money. She didn't want to do the job anymore. She wasn't motivated, just like she accuses her husband of being. If you're going to stab your partner in the back, at least, be honest and admit that maybe you're somewhat like that too, right? In some cases, that's what it is.
And faster and faster and faster. And look at it as a temporary thing. It doesn't have to be a career choice. It's a temporary thing.
She doesn't have it in her. Okay? I consider myself highly motivated. I will do what it takes. All right? Very highly motivated. I will do what it takes to get through it. If that means I have to be a litigation attorney 10 years for nonprofit or whatever, I will do it. I don't think litigation attorneys work nonprofit. They can, but I don't think that's what she was doing.
You need to do something and go make an extra $100K a year.
She ain't going to do
Ramsey
it.
Show.
She's not going to do it, and neither will her husband. All right. Sweet. Well, people, I hope you had much fun as I did. Look, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm one of those people where I will call it out. Okay, if I think I've screwed up, made a mistake, I will call it out. I will tell you, you know what? I will tattletale on myself before you have to find out and say anything about me. Okay. I see two highly unmotivated people here. Now, again, I'm not getting the husband's side. So, like I said, it could very well be that the husband is upset. He's detached from her because he has said to her, look, you know what? We can't afford this. And he may have felt like he sunk her, like she sunk them financially. I don't know. We didn't hear his side. Okay. So I just didn't like the way I thought Ramsey was making her sound like a little bit more like she's almost this innocent wife with a husband who just won't help her. And I'm like, oh, geez, okay. I don't know. Anyways, folks, that's it for today's show. All right, so I will be back tomorrow. All right, and I did enjoy taking Friday night off, so I will probably not be uploading videos on Fridays from here on out. It just kind of depends, but Fridays will be very, very iffy. All right, but I will be back again tomorrow. Okay, I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. Thank you so much for joining me. I do hope you will consider subscribing, and have a great night. Bye.